Okay.
I'm just gonna remove it.
And now for something completely different.
And welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute with Jokeypants or Fireside Chats. Whichever one, doesn't really matter. Today's actually really exciting. I have a very special guest with me today. So as we talked about in the surprise episode, and I say surprise because we didn't expect to have that happen, but let's not delve into history. Unless, of course, we're talking about childhood nostalgia, because we have a very special guest. As I said, I'm just very excited. We've had Velma. As I said, we've had Velma on some scripted episodes, and she didn't really agree with some of the stuff, which is understandable. They were very, like, taking acid in a bad 70s era. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Shaggy motherfucking Rogers, all right? I wish I like, oh my God. You gonna say anything? You're giving me a real bad look right now. Like, I don't appreciate how you treated Velma, man. She was real fucked up after coming back. No amount of Scooby Doobies or Scooby Snacks could fix that, man. Alright, if we're gonna get into it, man, then let's get into it. You melted Scrappy, which I don't have a problem with, but that first scripted episode, the Goldblums in Spring, was it? That was a messed up episode, man. Yeah, that was actually a fun fact for you, for everyone at home, and Shaggy. You might find this funny. Goldblums in Spring was actually a South Park episode idea that me and Mike had pitched, like, oh God, at this point it was like 10 years ago, maybe? Somewhere around there, about 10 years ago now. 11 years ago. That we had pitched, and we just never sent it in for South Park because we were like, they would never pick this up. But the whole premise was that Jeff Goldblum used the fly, was like cloning himself, and like everybody was turning into a different version. And it's funny because we had actually made the episode because, like, look, man, I have to be honest. You know what? Actually, give me the reasoning. Give me the reason, man. Well, thank you. It was just that for like a South Park setting, we were going to bring back the doctor, and we were going to say that Jeff Goldblum was cloning himself and replacing everyone so that Jeff Goldblum could be casted in everything, which in hindsight was kind of funny because that was 10 years ago, and it was because we got into the discussion of they were putting Jeff Goldblum in like everything, which is, Jeff Goldblum's great. It was just becoming a thing of like, man, what the fuck is he going to be in next? So we like had the whole idea, you know. You don't look very happy with that explanation. Like, look, man, it was a messed up episode, and Velma hasn't been the same. I mean, that's fair. That's actually really fair. I apologize. You know, if Velma wants to reach out, I'm sure we can mend that bridge somehow. Like, she'd be really appreciative of that, man. HBO really fucked her on that last one. Yeah, that show was fucking bad. How did you feel that they made your character anti-drug and they didn't even give you Scooby-Doo? You know, like, how did you feel about that? Like, that was bullshit, man. How the hell am I gonna be We all know I'm a goddamn stoner. It's written on my fucking face, man. Like, how you gonna do that to me? And also, you're not gonna have Scoob? Like, come on, man. Yeah, I know, that show was rough. I watched the first season, and after I got to the end of it, I was like, I'm not going to watch this if they continue it. And then they did, and then immediately canceled it after letting it continue because it was a bad idea. Oh, man, that shit's strong. Like, you gotta take the Scooby Dooby as it comes, man. So what else you got for me? You brought me here to this fucking... What the hell is this, man? Yeah, we lost the studio. I'm currently in the middle of a move, so everything's a pretty big mess. For any of you who actually do end up listening to this, we've been hinting at where I'm going, and I'll just tell you here, because this will be out by the time I move. Moving to Guam. Like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, I know, it's really far. Yeah, I was given an opportunity by Sergeant Redacted, a friend of the show, been a friend of mine for really almost my entire life, much like Anthony. And he just gave me an opportunity to kind of see the world. So I'm going to take him up on it, live there. We're talking about making some trips to Japan and Australia. Like, there's a ton of shit he wants to do, because we haven't actually, like, been together, like, hung out and whatnot in, like, fucking forever. I saw him one time, like, a year ago, and that was the first time I'd seen him in, like, like, fucking 8 years or something like that, because he had joined the military, so it'd been a long time since I'd seen him, and it was good seeing him, so, but yeah, that's going on there. Anyway, moving on. There is a scene, and I've been dying to ask you about this. In Looney Tunes Back in Action, you and Scooby-Doo are having lunch, and you have Matthew Lillard with you. Now, me and the cast, like, at least me and Anthony, like, we're very much, like, we love Matthew Lillard, and I was just wondering, like, did you actually hate how he did your voice, or was that just, like, a, all for the movie kind of thing? Like, I didn't actually hate it, man. I think he actually did a pretty good job bringing me into live action, That was something that the studio felt would be funny, the Warner Brothers there, and, it was funny, but, I don't think he was actually that bad. I think he was a really good choice for it. How did you feel finding out he was almost Negan for Walking Dead? Like, that would not have worked, man. I love the man and the things he's done, but he would not have been a good Negan, man. Yeah, that's probably fair. Outside of that, you've had numerous, like, video games and movies and series. Do you feel that, there's ever going to be a time when there's not going to be a Scooby-Doo and we're not going to have a Shaggy? Which, personally, I'll feel really fucking sad about. Well, we were almost not a thing there. If you look back in our category in, like, the 80s era there, man, like, we did the Scooby and Scrappy just kind of killed it. We did 13 Ghosts. We had some standalones. I was just glad to get the whole crew back together, That's really where my heart is, man. If I can have Scoob and my friends and we're just doing our thing. You know what? I agree with that. I think, but personally, I did enjoy a lot of the Ghoul School was one of the ones that I owned, and I liked that a lot. That movie is fucking terrible. Yeah, everybody tells me, but, childhood nostalgia, what are you gonna do? Shaggy, I've been a fan of yours, since I was fucking, 3-4 years old. Like, I've been in love with Scooby-Doo. You personally got me into, voice acting things. And not that I've really done anything with that. I'm not an actual voice actor on anything. I just really like imitating voices and doing things. And, you, hands down, were, one of my very first. And I will never get tired of doing a Shaggy, because it just... God, does it ever get annoying hearing everybody try to do you and whatnot? It can get annoying, but... At the end of the day, it's flattery, and I appreciate that people can love me as much as they do, because at the end of the day, I just enjoy a good Scooby-Doober with my Scooby-Dooby pal. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that, When I had a dog, before my bitch of an ex took it, she also enjoyed the Scooby-Doobers with me, so she was like my own personal Scooby-Doo, but a girl. But she was also brown, and she was a beautiful little dog. Well, not little. She was a pit bull, so she was gonna get bigger. Which is the one thing. Scooby's a is he a mastiff, or is he they get pretty fucking big. Scooby does he is a pretty big pup. But, at the end of the day, I gotta have somebody that can keep up with this appetite. You know what? That's actually pretty fair. I think if you had, a smaller dog, I don't think any of that would work the way that it has. While we have you here, I guess we'll just ask you, are you expecting any other projects? Since the Scoob movie came out and things, is there anything else that you can say you have coming out? Well, at the moment, Lillard has reached out to get more voice coaching from me, because he's been trying to push to have another Scooby-Doo live, but as the R-rated man, the R-rated we never got, I think that would be an interesting story to see play out. Maybe like a real killer. Like, we're running around, man. We're zoinks! You know, I think that could work. And then they could really do a Scooby-Doober. That would actually be... I've wanted them to actually go through with that idea, and I agree. I don't think they'll ever actually do it. And, fuck, we're at time. God damn, these episodes go by so fast. Shaggy, I want to thank you so much for just taking the time to stop in. I know you're busy. You guys are out solving mysteries and doing your own thing, but I really appreciate you stopping in. You know, if you ever want to come see the beautiful sights of beaches and whatnot, hey, you have a contact, right? Like, I will be taking you up on that because I'm going to need a vacation. Right now, we're doing some Michigan haunts and locations, and I don't even want to know because I didn't even want to do it. But here I am. Well, Shaggy, I think you're right. There's not too... I don't think there's any... Actually, no, there's some pretty horrifying fucking Michigan legends that I'm sure you're going to end up having to delve in and deal with. But thank you so much. You want to let the people know where they can find us and whatnot? Like, sure, man. You have to follow these guys at Oddcast and on Twitter. And if you're not on Twitter, are you on TikTok? Everyone's on TikTok, damn it. Follow them at What an Oddcast over on TikTok. Get clips and whatever other shit that they post up there. And if you want to send an email, send it to oddcastmedia@gmail.com. And you all remember to stay odd, man.